Hi everybody and welcome to Draftscapes. I'm Chris Duccio. In this lesson, we're going to start laying the foundation of a stable and successful professional landscape business. We'll review creating an overall focus or mission for your company, go over some common mistakes when first starting out, and take a look at legal structures for professional landscape companies. Stick around. Hi everyone, so today we're going to be discussing developing your company's mission and choosing an organizational structure that best suits your business. Understanding the mission and vision of your company is something most people don't really spend a lot of time on, especially in the world of landscaping. It's easy to get preoccupied by the other elements that your business might need, like a logo or marketing or just simple client acquisition. Now, while these are important, it's the mission of your company that really drives what your business is and what it can become. So a common question that I get from students is, why do I need a good mission statement? There are really two main reasons why you should develop a good mission. So first, the actual act of writing down a mission statement will help you focus your goals for your new business and identify the specific characteristics that differentiate you from your competition. We're going to talk in a second about how to write a good mission statement, but ultimately, the mission should give anyone that reads it a clear understanding of your company and its services or values to its customers. Second, the mission statement is a really good resource for both retrospective analysis and forward decision making. A well-developed mission acts a lot like a north arrow on a compass for your business. Throughout the months or years that you work within the industry, things are going to arise that might throw you off course, but your overall mission and objectives should guide you to making correct decisions for your future. I had spoken about forward decision making, and I think that's important. So your mission should assist you in making tough decisions. Perhaps the mission of your company revolves around designing rain gardens, and you're offered an exciting but expensive marketing opportunity for a groundskeeping or lawn care conference. You can feel confident in your decision to pass up that opportunity because the potential visitors of that conference don't complement the overall mission of your company. It's also important to recognize that a mission statement is not just a static phrase or paragraph you throw up on a wall or website and leave alone. The mission of your company is always evolving, and as your company grows, your mission can and should grow as well. So then, what makes a good mission statement? A well-developed mission statement should have the three following things: an identifiable market, so who you're going to serve; a company contribution, what services you're going to provide; a level of distinction, so what makes your company unique; and let's see how these actually relate to each other to develop a good mission statement. So, let's say that a manager of a large office park in Los Angeles is looking to hire a company to do design work for their property. The manager goes online and reviews two businesses. Business A has a description on their website that reads, ABC Landscape's mission is to provide beautiful spaces for all to enjoy. While Business B has one that reads, the mission of ABC Landscapes is to provide beautiful, sustainable landscape design solutions for Southern California properties using our premier low-maintenance design strategies. The park manager is most likely going to contact Business B because they know that the company not only provides the specific services they're looking for within their region, but also prides itself on having premier low-maintenance design strategies using sustainable techniques. Business A could really be doing any type of work and might not actually even do design work. Business B has all three essential elements of a good mission statement. It has an identifiable market, Southern California. It explains the service or company contribution to provide beautiful, sustainable landscape design solutions. And it has a level of distinction, using premier low-maintenance design strategies. For anyone reading that statement, they have a clear understanding of the business, its services, and how it differentiates itself from its competitors. Now, I'm not saying that Business A can't be successful, but it would be taking much longer for them to develop a following of clients that know their work, because they can't actually define it well. So, in order to help define your mission statement more clearly, it helps to identify a specific niche within your area that you're trying to sell to. Now, I'm referring to an explicit sector within the profession that you're going to stake your claim on. It could be sustainable design materials, edible landscaping, or even organic lawn care. By developing ideas of specific areas your company is going to act on, it will give you a strategic advantage over your competitors. We're going to discuss this idea of a niche in later lessons, but it's important to note that the green industry is full of possible niches for your company to fulfill. You just have to identify what suits you best. The two most important aspects of developing a good mission statement are taking the time to brainstorm ideas and self-reflect. Now, these might sound like identical actions, but they're actually not. They're very different. So we're going to take brainstorming first. Brainstorming is a proactive creative process that explores all possibilities for a specific problem or idea. For your landscape business and the associated mission statement, you should begin the brainstorming process by thinking of all the services in the green industry you may want your company to offer. This can extend indefinitely, ranging from container gardening to tree care and everything in between. Self-reflection is a much slower, more introspective process. For this activity, you're focusing on your core values and beliefs, both personally and professionally. What are your long-term goals? What things motivate and interest you? Developing and running your own business is an extremely time-consuming process. If you aren't honest with yourself about what excites you and what you want to get out of it, then you're only going to struggle to find problems for yourself in the future. Now, with both the fundamentals of how to write a good mission statement and its key components, along with a clear understanding of your personal and professional goals, you should have the ability to create a solid mission statement to further guide you in your business development process. The next item we have to consider when starting a business is the legal structure that it's going to take. This is a much more cut and dry process than your mission statement, but it deserves just as much thought and attention. When you register a business with both the state and federal government, the type of business entity that you're creating is going to affect both your personal liabilities to the company and the manner in which it's taxed. There are essentially 6 types of legal structures for the average startup business: sole proprietorships, partnerships, both general partnerships and limited partnerships, corporations, C Corps and S Corps, and limited liability corporations, or LLCs. I'm going to review each of them briefly, and then I'm going to run through some basic pros and cons of each type. First, sole proprietorships. A sole proprietorship is the easiest of all the business entities to set up. Essentially, if you start a business and you're the sole owner with no employees, you're considered a sole proprietor under the law. The advantages of a sole proprietorship is that they're easy to start up, easy to file taxes for, and the profits and losses for the business can be deducted from your personal income tax. The primary disadvantage of a sole proprietorship is that there's no distinction between your personal assets and liabilities and those of your business. This means that if your company or business were to be held financially liable for something, your personal assets would also be at risk. Additionally, startup financing for a sole proprietorship is difficult to obtain because you're not a registered business entity as of yet, and so banks typically won't provide business loans to cover initial expenses. My advice to most students when first toying with the idea of starting their own business is to begin as a sole proprietorship. As the business grows and you feel it's financially viable, you can incorporate to another entity later on. Next, we have partnerships. The idea of a partnership should be fairly simple to understand. It's when 2 or more individuals own the business. So in these examples, we can assume that you, along with a friend or colleague, are going to go into the business together. I should note here that if you're married and file taxes jointly, even if you and your spouse own the business, the IRS still sees this as a sole proprietorship. There are 2 types of partnerships, the general partnership and the limited partnership. We're going to review both briefly. For a general partnership, you can think of it similar to a sole proprietorship, except that there's 2 or more owners. The advantages are very similar. If you own a business with another person, the IRS automatically sees that as a general partnership, and the owners can still deduct financial losses from the business on their personal tax returns. The disadvantages is also similar to a sole proprietorship, with the lack of protection of personal assets and the difficulty to obtain business financing. Additionally, in certain circumstances, partners can actually be liable for the negligent actions of their partners, but that depends on the specific state that your business is registered in and should be considered or understood before making that choice. Limited partnerships are the second type, and they share similarities with general partnerships, but with some key differences. First, there are 2 types of partners in a limited partnership: the general partners, who act and have responsibilities in the same manner as the previous example, and limited partners, who have a financial investment in the company but are not actual owners, so they don't have responsibilities on the day-to-day operations of the business. Limited partnerships also differ from general partnerships based on the amount of paperwork that you need to file through your state. So it actually takes more paperwork to file a limited partnership than just a general. The advantages and disadvantages are similar to a general partnership. General partners can deduct business expenses on their personal income taxes, again having liability over the business's debts. The added advantage of a limited partnership, though, is the limited partners themselves, who can actually assist in raising money for the business without exposing any personal liability for that. So typically, unless you're a business owner that knows you want to partner with someone else, I would steer you clear or away from a partnership and towards another legal structure, an LLC, which we'll talk about in a moment. Next, we have corporations, C Corps and S Corps. A C Corp acts as a completely separate legal entity from its owners. It requires a variety of forms, tax filings, and business fees associated with its setup and can be very difficult to run if you're just starting out in the field. The main benefit of a C Corp is that its owners are not financially liable for any business debts, since the business is its own separate legal entity. Additionally, it can offer a further number of tax deductions than the previous types of businesses that we just reviewed. The primary disadvantages of a C Corp are that the business losses cannot be deducted from the owner's personal income taxes, and C Corps go through what's called double taxation, whereby the corporation itself is taxed on the profits from the quarter, and then the shareholders are also taxed again based on their personal income from the dividends they receive. For most landscape professionals starting out, I would highly advise steering clear of this option until you've developed a sound, profitable, and sustainable business model. An S Corp, or S Corporation, is similar to a C Corp, except that it can act as a pass-through entity. This means that profits and losses from the corporation can pass through to an owner's personal income tax for purposes of taxation. This is an attractive option because it still provides the liability protection of a C Corp while also allowing tax deductions of losses, similar to that of a partnership or sole proprietorship. Much like a C Corp, the S Corp does take a greater amount of paperwork and fees to register, and you need to engage in the standard required corporate actions, such as establishing bylaws, holding board meetings, and other associated actions. Last on our list is the Limited Liability Corporation, or LLC. An LLC essentially takes all the previous characteristics we discussed and places them in a business entity that's extremely user-friendly to a new small business owner. Much like an S Corp, the LLC limits the personal liability of the owners while still allowing the income to pass through to their personal accounts for tax purposes. So it sounds a lot like an S Corp, right? Well, correct, but the benefit of an LLC over an S Corp is the amount of paperwork and corporate filings that are required. The LLC does not have to engage in the standard actions of board meetings or bylaws that would be required of an S Corp, but it still maintains the personal asset protection. Registering a business as an LLC is the most common recommendation I make for new landscape professionals that have shown growth in the business after the sole proprietor phase. After that initial period, if you're still figuring out the legitimacy of your business, registering as an LLC is a really beneficial option in my opinion. As you can see, when you're first starting out and developing a landscape business, there are many choices you're going to need to make. Through proper research, self-reflection, and development of a solid mission statement, you can tackle the first steps in making your landscape business a reality. In the other lessons in this series, we're going to continue to guide you in developing your business and get more focused into the services that can best earn your business income in the landscape profession. If you like the content of this video and you want to learn more information about landscape design or developing a landscape business, be sure to subscribe to the channel and go over to draftscapes.com, where you're going to find not only similar content but a wide variety of other helpful articles completely free. See you at the next video.